everything we do in life, there's some type of competitive notion, right? I feel like a steampunk Amish samurai. That's I got a 4-chair turn when some people only had one spot left.
What do you hope people feel when they hear your music? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Today, I'm joined by Ephraim Owens, a singer originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, and was a contestant on season 24 of The Voice. Ephraim was surrounded by music from an early age when his grandmother, she sang backup for icons like Marvin Gaye and Al Green, and his father serving as the minister of music. Now, Owens' powerful performance on The Voice earned him a legendary 4-chair turn. And now he's back in Carmel with his wife and 3 children, and he recently sang the national anthem at the Brickyard 400 and an Indianapolis Indians game in which I was present there throwing out the first pitch. So today we're going to be covering the journey through The Voice and all the amazing things that happened there. A little bit about grit and glamour, and then family and farm life. So Ephraim, welcome to Get In.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked about this. I've been watching your podcast and covering this city that I love. And so once any connection was made, I'm all for it. And let's make Indy great.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We just get to highlight like all the cool stuff going on. Absolutely. And I will say, I do think when I think about what Indy is missing is like a phenom musical artist.
Well, we're going after it.
Right? Like Louisville gets Jack Harlow and like, I don't really know, honestly, like who is the biggest musical artist out of Indianapolis?
Me.
Of course. Yeah. We'll get to the talk about
I don't know if you would say Indianapolis. I would probably say Indiana. Like your 2 biggest icons that Indiana is going to claim is definitely Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And then people don't talk about him, but definitely Mellencamp.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Seymour, baby.
Yeah.
Down south.
Yeah.
He still lives on Lake Monroe in Bloomington. Yeah,
I did not know that.
He still putzes around down there.
The problem is, which I can respect it, so I'm not throwing any shade. But people, they pursue this music career, they have to be transplant, or at least they believe. At one point, you had to be close to this major label. You had to be in these meccas. So people leave, right? And then they forget their roots. Like, that is crazy to me. Like, that aspect is because, at least for me, Indiana, like, if you remove Indiana from me, I'm not the same person at all.
Heck yeah.
You know?
Well, what do you think, like, this is just like, we're going to get right into it. It's like, what do you think the, like, around Indy coolest show or stage? Because usually it's like, okay, someone plays, I don't know, like, Tin Roof or Egyptian Room or something, and they're like, great, and next month I'm moving to Nashville, and like, I got to get out of here.
I get caught in it too, like as I'm trying to really pursue music and really put myself in the best position. Like, the reality is, if you go to Nashville, you can walk down the street in Nashville and you're going to run into maybe 10 of the best musicians you've ever met, 3 of the best producers that you've ever met, and you just instantly feel like, oh, if I want to do it, this is where I have to be. But the reality is there's a lot of fantastic people everywhere, and you have the ability, especially with just technology and everything else, to really do stuff at home. Like Billie Eilish, her first album was in her room with her brother.
Dude, and the thing about Nashville, I love Nashville.
Yeah,
I have a great time there. But the thing about it is like, everyone's good.
Everyone.
Like, it is, I do think there's an opportunity, especially if you can capture like the digital, like, you know, way to like really grow, of like standing out.
100%.
Like everyone, like, and you end up singing on Broadway, off Broadway, and all of a sudden you're just singing cover tunes at freaking Kid Rock's 3rd floor bar, and you're
100%.
Like, what the hell? I came down here to like make a career out of this, and I'm just singing Friends in Low Places on repeat.
Yeah, network, like, the reality is, and I think the riddled streets of dead or starving artists in various, you know, whether it's Nashville, New York, LA, is many of them think that if I go to that place and I'm just my platinum album's just going to fall out of the sky and someone's going to discover me.
Yes, and you're a million TikTok followers.
Yeah, exactly. And the reality is, it really is about networking and truly, you know, being in the right place at the right time. And for myself, even as I got the opportunity to be on The Voice and be amongst peak of it when we first got out there, One, many people don't realize that the process starts way before.
Okay. Well, let's just start there. Take me back to like when you first got into music and like the journey that brought you to like, maybe I should pursue something like The Voice. So where to begin?
All right, where to begin? So
with the Battle Hymn of the Republic, right?
Yes. So my grandmother, she went to a church downtown, slightly west side, called Christ Missionary Baptist Church, and she was a legend amongst vocalists and everything. And so my first opportunity, we were doing a special. My dad is a musician and minister of music for my whole life, and so we were doing a special. And we got to sing Battle Hymn of the Republic. I was 3 years old, and I had my little solo.
Just crushed it.
I crushed it.
Yes, sir.
I crushed it.
Yes,
I was
sir.
3 years old, and I crushed it. I was on key, in tone, and I was
he
like...
was hooked.
I was hooked.
And
I
he's
was
like,
hooked.
one day there's going to be a show, and I'm going to get on it.
One day. And so I really got into... I really didn't have a choice not to be, like, into music. But for me, I, love it, and I feel like this is what I was made to do. I'm one of 7. All of us are involved in music. My oldest brother, he was a minister of music, and now he's a pastor in off of 86th and Central. He has a church, City of Lights. And my other brother, my baby brother, actually David Owens, he was on season 16 of The Voice.
Well, he was on it before you were?
Oh yeah.
No way.
Oh, see, this is the thing. We'll go into like combat and we'll go into all these different things but the overarching thing is like, I am uber competitive.
And you're like wait, so David gets on.
David gets on. So we go, my first time I ever went out was like 2000.
What do you say go out? Like, first give us the process. So, how does the process of getting on The Voice work?
So pre-COVID, you used to basically go, they used to have it like in like 5 or 7 major cities, right?
This is like the old school like American Idol thing. Like you line up like hour long.
So they had one in Chicago. So me and my then girlfriend, now wife, went out to Chicago and sat all day to then get into this room with you and like 12 other people for a assistant producer. You sing, 30 seconds of a song if you get that. I mean, they'll straight up raise their hand and you just stop and then you sit down. And then after that...
Wait, what?
Oh, bro.
So you just start singing and they're like 2 seconds, it's a no from me, dog.
And they'll say they'll go through everybody, right? So you don't get...
So there's 12 potential contestants in the room.
Sitting in a room. It's your turn. You stand up, you sing, and they let you keep going, or you sit down. No words, no nothing. Just cold-hearted. Boom. And at that time, you've also already been there waiting for like 7 hours, at least. At least my mindset, you fill out this time slot. I'm going to audition from this time. No. You're going to get in line at that time, right? So the first time I went to Chicago, after everyone's did their segment, sang their portion of their song, at the end they'll say people's names, and they say, all right, come get your callback form. And then that means you get to prepare 3, songs with accompaniment the next day to see if you
So you stay in Chicago?
You would stay in Chicago.
Did you
I did not.
No. Oh,
no. So I sing my part. They go, all right, we're not going to keep anybody from this group. You're like, dang. So now I got to drive all the way back home.
Were you pissed?
I was angry because like I'm super competitive, but I also love to learn. So I wish I could have got like feedback, right? I didn't get that. So then years go, and
What year was that? The first time you tried?
That was like 2012.
Oh, okay. And your brother, what season would that have been?
He was 16. So it was 3 years later. They had auditions here in Indy. So me and 3 of my brothers. So me, my brother John, he's older than me. My brother Judah, he's in the line.
How many brothers do you have?
There's 7 of us. I have 4 brothers, 2 sisters.
Heck yeah.
Yes. 4 of us went. 2 of us made it to callbacks. So myself and my baby brother, David, made it to callbacks.
Damn, that had to be a good Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. It was even better this past one because he goes through the process, and the process is like, it's strenuous. Like from the moment that you get to get a call back, and that was pre-COVID, that was more in-person stuff. Post-COVID was my process. And so there's a lot more digital and sending off stuff.
So you both get the call back. That means you get 3 songs with accompaniment the next day?
Yeah. So the next day, like they tell you, it was a funny moment because like my little brother, I mean, he's younger and he does some little brother stuff. He's a very great person. He's amazing, but he's still a little brother.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And there's certain things that he just does nonchalantly. I don't know if it's just his generation, but he's just like, you know, he graduates from IU and we're like, oh, you got to dress up and get a clean cut for your interview. And he's like, I mean, my resume speaks for itself. You're like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
like, come on.
This dude.
So we go down there and he'll tell us that we all convinced him to go. But like as the producer in the room, she's like, but you still came. Like, so you had to want to do well. Cause she's like giving us pointers. Like you need 3 songs, you need this and this. She's like, and dress to impress. And she's like, looks at my little brother. She goes, all right, look at him and see how he's dressed.
What are you doing?
And he's like, he goes, I kind of am. And she goes, you have a hole in your shirt. And he's like, oh, I mean, but they convinced me. So I really wasn't prepared. She goes, but you showed up. So you had to actually want to move forward.
Okay, wait. So brief pause. So you 2 are in the room and she's gapping on your brother right now. And then you go out there and sing.
So we go out the next day and we're on a mad dash because like you want to pick songs that represent you and you want to do them well because it's the next tier. So now it's not everyone's stretched thin trying to go through, like, I think there was like 11,000 people that came to
for
audition.
Callbacks?
For the open call downtown at Banker's Life for whatever it is now.
Yeah.
And so now it's like you walk in a room and there's 10 people, 15 people that are evaluating you.
Oh. Okay, what'd you sing for day 1? What'd you sing the first time in Chicago?
I might have sang Broken Road by
Rascal Flatts?
By Rascal Flatts. Because I just want to throw a curveball. Like,
yeah.
They're like, oh, wasn't expecting that. It wasn't a curveball enough.
It wasn't a curveball. They didn't like that one.
They didn't like
you
that.
say no. They're like, chill with the Rascal Flatts next time. Okay, and then round 2?
And then round 2, I sang King of My Heart. It's a worship song.
Okay.
And moved on.
Hey, there you go. Praise be. Come on.
Praise be. Had that extra anointing.
Yeah.
And then, so then callbacks.
You get 3.
I get 3. So then I went in that vein, right? I'm like, okay, so I sang this worship song. At the time I was a worship leader. I'm like, okay, so they like that. So let me keep doing that path. Man, I opened my mouth to sing the first song, and one, I was very unlucky because Michelle McNulty is over the casting company. So how it works is there's a casting company that basically accumulates and gathers and finds the talent, and then they present it to the producers of the show, right? So they split. There was 2 callback rooms, and I was in the room that Michelle was in, and she was running it, right? David got in with another room, and I will say that I think he got lucky being in that room, but also I think that I was ready to present myself in a way that I thought they wanted to like pitch me as, because you start reading hints of every part of the process. And so I'm like, all right, they like this song, so let me prepare this.
So you did 3 worship songs?
Yes.
Oh.
And she was like, well, I didn't do 3 because she stopped me at the first one. She was like, listen, you sound fantastic. Like, you sound awesome. She goes, but you're about to take me into like worship, and I don't want that. And she's like, this is reality. She goes, we've had lots of people that go on The Voice and they're worship leaders, and that's what their past is, but this isn't Voice worship leader edition. So then she started like putting me in this vein, right? She's like, I was like, okay. She's like, you are gorgeous. You're attractive. Oh. She was like, you need to be singing like this bumping grind. Da, da, da. I'm like, R&B. I'm like, okay, all right. She's like, so sing do you know any of this? So I'm like pitching songs. I'm like, oh, Love XY by Luke James. And so she's like, all right, sing it. You know, like, so there's an aspect where she really wanted me to move on. So, but this is where I know why I didn't, is because in that phase is because at that time they did all these city ones, and then they would, after all of them, they would basically create highlight reels of all the contestants, and then amongst their team would essentially vote, right? I'm like, I don't have good enough tape. You know, I felt like a football player, like, you know, are you going to leave early? You know, I'm like, I need more tape.
Yeah.
And I didn't have it. My brother David did.
What did he sing? Do you remember?
I couldn't tell you.
He's in the other room.
He's in the other room, and he comes out. And after that, right, there's still, in that callback, there's still a moving phase. Like, so after you do your vocal singing, then if you do well there, then you go to an interview, and they interview you and get that on tape. And
same day or a different day?
Same day.
So he did well, and he got called to the interview, and you didn't?
No, I did.
Oh, you got an interview too?
So I was like, all right, there's still hope, right? There's still hope.
The duo, the brothers.
Yeah, and then they're like interviewing us. They're like, oh man, you guys are great. This is so fun, awesome. I'm like, all right. Well, then time went, and I didn't get a phone call. And
how long?
I mean, it was probably 2 or 3 months, because they had to go through all the cities.
Yeah,
they had to go through all the cities for the. And I ended up getting the call, and you know, one of the aspects is at that time.
Wait, they at least call you and say why they didn't choose you?
Yeah,
That's nice.
And it was tape. And then the other aspect is like they did not necessarily at that time, they didn't have groups, and so they did like group. It was only individuals. Like now, I want to say season 16 or 17, they started introducing groups of 3, and so they were like, we don't know if we want 2 brothers competing against each other.
Oh,
and I was like, you don't know our family though. Like, we want to compete against each other.
And they said, but we want David.
Yeah, but we want David.
So he got on.
And so this will tell just the process. So he got on. He had to go out like a few more times for in person like evaluation.
How many people make it to that phase?
Probably 400, 500 people from that phase. But then I nonchalantly, like, once you're in the like kind of the tank and getting emails and just different stuff, like they start doing more virtual auditions. So they're like, hey, I get an email, we're doing a virtual audition, fill out for a slot. I'm like, all right, cool. I'll just fill out for a slot. It's virtual, you know, I'll just do it at home. And one night, my wife's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just gonna go do this voice audition real quick I have like a she shed or a man shed. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go back here and do this audition. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's just a slot. I'll go. And I do it, and probably an hour and a half later, I get an email that says, hey, you're moving forward to callbacks. I'm like, what?
Yes.
I didn't even have to drive to Chicago for this or wait 6 hours. Like,
wait,
what'd
you sing that time?
That song I sang "Nervous" by John Legend.
Oh, they're like, oh, I know what you're doing.
Okay, all right. And so, you know, I had to pivot, right? I didn't go down to like the Jodeci and D'Angelo, you know, sexual chocolate R&B side, but I brought more feel to it.
So you get callbacks, then you got 3 songs with accompaniment. Is that virtual or in person?
That's all. That post-COVID, it's all virtual. So,
do you feel like the speakers really like and the mic like really capture what you're able to do virtually?
No, not me.
Hey, enough, I guess, to get you a callback.
Yeah, but like, yes. I think that it can give them enough to see like, all right, what this person's working with, and it leaves enough for excitement when you can get in the room with the person. So I did my 3 videos. That process, like, it happens pretty fast, and then they give you like stipulations, like they want it shot a certain way, you know, and they say some stuff that you don't think you ever have to say. And I think it's one of those, you know, they say stuff like, you know, make sure there's not laundry in the back of your shot. And you're like, you have to say that? You're like, yeah, you actually do, because they didn't And there was people that were like sending these
in their laundry room,
like, or just not caring about the environment,
showing up with holes in their shirt.
Yeah, David. Just they give you all these different stipulations, and you submit your songs, and then shortly after, I want to say for that phase, maybe it was like, well, actually probably 24 hours. I got, hey, all these other two. Because you're more working like with a specific production assistant at that time. How I don't know this as fact, but how the feeling that I got from it was essentially like everything we do in life, there's some type of competitive notion, right? And so I think that in this casting company, every assistant basically is going through this process and picking their champions. Mm-hmm. And they all want to be able to take and be like, I pick winners. Yeah. I draft winners. Yeah, exactly. Like, man, so 30 people got selected and 25 of them were this person, this assistant. And he's like, yeah,
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. So I sent my 3 videos off, and like in 24 to 48 hours, I got an email. I was like, hey, all these are great, but like maybe let's adjust this one this way. And then I'm like, all right, cool. No problem.
I think that's good feedback. Like, yeah, we'll
awesome. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I get it. They're like, when do you think you get? It'd be a few hours,
What are you doing full time during this point?
Full time right now, I work at Custom Cast Stone up in Westfield, Indiana, and we make cast stone, which basically looks like Indiana's one of Indiana's natural resources.
So you're working full time in stone.
Oh yeah, I'm
whole way through.
Whole way through.
And if they've been like, yo, when you're doing an appearance or whatever, there's like, yeah, go play.
Yeah. I mean, they're understanding. Plus, I have a little bit of flex because I'm the only person that runs this type of machine. There's only 2 machines like this in existence. One's in Mexico and one's here, and I run it. And there's only been one other person that ran it prior to me, and he retired after 28 years, and he's enjoying fishing.
So they're like, even when you want to go sing, man, just go sing. Just come back to work.
Yeah, just please come back.
They're like when your album drops, so they're gonna be like, yo, come on. Like,
yeah, the owner's brother, after my first episode aired, he's like, I hope you got somebody training under him. He's about to be out.
Okay, so let's talk about that first episode, right? Like, you get called out there. Like, how long are you out in? Or is it LA? Where are you at?
Yeah, so I'm out in LA, undisclosed location. I'm out in LA, and I go out there, and I'm there for almost 9 weeks before.
9 weeks?
Yeah.
Before like anything? Like, how this is?
So this
is crazy.
I won't go into all the details, but the one thing that does to me set the voice process apart from, and I don't know this I know this from people's accounts that were on the voice with me. Idol, any of these others, like, they happen so fast. Like, the earlier stages, the first recordings, the auditions are like within the week that people go out there. And the voice, like, they really want to position people to be able to put their best foot forward. So that aspect was the coolest thing I've ever done.
So what are you doing
life.
For 9 weeks?
You are meeting with vocal coaches. You're doing wardrobe.
Oh yeah, dude! For your battle,
the seamstress,
they had you kidded,
bro. My mother did not like the outfit, but I was like,
with the hat.
Yeah, I love the hat. I have the whole wardrobe still. The only thing was my pants, like the original pants to go with that outfit. They didn't work. They didn't fit. So they were like, ooh, how about these? And they were like, Ephraim, like, it's a little avant-garde. Are you willing to push it? I'm like, yeah, let's go.
And it's got like a dress type looking stuff, right?
Yeah. It's like, we'll
put a picture of it.
I'm like, it's like, if this is I felt like a steampunk samurai. Like,
yes, very samurai. Yes.
Yeah. I was like, I feel like a steampunk Amish samurai. That's
that's fair. That's respectable.
I'm like, all right, but whatever. Like, we're gonna go after it. And that was probably the only thing in the whole process that, like, I did wardrobe. You figure out different stuff and different looks and all that stuff, and that I left, and I just didn't feel great about it. But then I ask, and they're willing to like work. But then, there's also another person that's like, listen, the producers have seen your outfit. They freaking love it. We can change it if you want. And I'm like, Nah,
they love it.
They love it. Listen, let's keep that one. I don't hate it that bad. But you're out there, you're doing all these different things. And that part is just super, super cool because, again, at this point, it's just, I'm a dad, a husband. I have 2 kids.
Is your family there or here?
No, they're here. So my wife is, I did not know at the time, but my wife is here with the 2 kids, pregnant, and I'm out. And now her perspective is like I'm just eating bonbons and just on vacation,
having a good time. Over 2 months.
Yeah. And
you guys didn't see each other one time?
No.
9 weeks.
9 weeks, bro.
See each other.
9 weeks. And then, so doing all this stuff, which is for a person who is like went into the next phase of life as a husband, a dad, a provider, all this stuff, to be in a place where like every day, my number one priority was essentially doing what I love and taking care of my voice and sharpening my craft, which I don't get those opportunities.
Dad gets a little rest and relaxation.
Yeah, I don't get that. And so that aspect was awesome. And if someone was like, what would, your life look like if it was up to you? I'm like, I would basically be doing that with my family. That would be the best, right?
Yeah.
And so doing all these different things, have vocal coaches, staging. The band is the best band that you could ever imagine in your life. They've played with everybody, done everything. Even the whole production team is fantastic. Like I stay in contact with many of them just because they were like, you bond with these people. These people interview you countless amounts of times. You have everybody kind of has a producer for the show that they work with very closely because they want to portray you and learn your story and get to know you to best essentially sell you or pitch you to America. Yeah. So it's a very, very cool experience. Now, the other side, it's also extremely stressful because one, you're isolated, you're away from your family. From a standpoint, not saying that everyone follows it, but you really can't go anywhere or do anything. You're in a hotel this whole time. I'm thankful there was like 4 people that were on my season that were on the previous season because same thing happened to my brother is they have X amount of spots for teams, right? And so they don't know if coaches are going to say yes to the first 20 or no to the first 20. So they have to have enough contestants to be able to play that out. So for my brother's season, like when he was originally for season 15 and the last spot got filled right before he walked on stage.
Oh,
so
damn.
They say, teams are filled, go home. I know you've been here for 8 weeks and you didn't even get a shot.
Stop.
So then he left. They were like, hey, you're going to go within that first day. You come back for season 16, give it a try. So he did that. So there were some people that did the similar process my season, but then they were still in COVID restrictions for that season. So for them, they even had producers that had to drop food off at the doors and like they had like 15 minutes or like rec time, like jail.
Dude, what?
It was for real. So I'm so thankful that I didn't have those restrictions, but it's like extremely intense. Like, because every day, everything you're doing is an evaluation. Everything. And there are people, RIP, that, you don't see on a roster the next day and they got cut.
They're just gone.
They're just gone. I had one of my good friends who was across the hall from me, Huntley, he wanted my season. And that's one thing he was talking to me, that final week is like to go from, they were doing 2 seasons at the same time. So to go from like getting down there and there's like 200 vocalists and we're pretty much just living and taking over this hotel and there's jam sessions and you're hanging at the pool and you're collaborating. People brought their whole setups and stuff. And some people that were local had their friend bring their mixer and all this stuff. Like you have this like super music camp vibe at the beginning to when it comes to lives and there's 20 people. Then one week there's 10 people to one.
And how far did you
3.
make it?
So I lost in my battle. I lost, and that was an exponential bummer because again, I'm competitive, but I like coaching. And dude, we didn't get feedback. Like, and
the feedback from we watched the clip. It's like they were both really good,
bro. But I'm talking like the whole week, like vocal, stage stuff. Like we have a stage rehearsal, like choreographer and the head vocal coach. She was like, "Listen, I'm not trying to have favorites." She said this to me and DJ, my partner, my battle partner, or my battle opponent, however you look at it. She's like, "But if this was a class, I'd call both of y'all up to the front and tell everybody to do what y'all do."
Dude, it's so good.
And
Cry
I'm
Me
like,
a River.
So I'm like, all right. And every person in this process, their job is to literally shoot straight to you. And we go to rehearsals, band rehearsals, where people come back to the hotel and they crying because so-and-so said, this. Basically, they sucked or get it together, And so for us, me and DJ, we literally be talking to each other every night. Like, every time we get something, like, oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. You guys are crushing it. Oh, you're absolutely going to get stolen, or you're actually going to this. Like, it's amazing. Even to what they didn't show was like, we audition or we do our battle, and they tell us, they didn't air that, but they tell us, y'all are the best of the night. You're the best of the night. And I go home. And so I'm literally on the side, like, what?
And at the moment, did you think like, okay, someone's gonna steal me?
But
then did you actually say like, John, you're my favorite coach?
Yes.
Damn, you should have just like Reba, you're my favorite.
Listen, I watched that clip over and over again, and I have friends that I didn't know how I knew how theirs unfolded, but I didn't know the process, and that people, they lost their battle and then they pitched themselves. And, I probably should have pitched myself more. I should have been like, yo, y'all need to do this. Do this. I was so freaking shocked at what had happened.
Dude, because they were both so good. You and DJ were both so good.
DJ is my guy to this day. And we went through that process, and it's kind of like, roommates. Everyone has that horror roommate story. I was lucky. Like, me and him, we worked well together. I think we complemented each other well, and that was our mindset. Our mindset was that somebody has to win, but the other one's going to get stolen because of the performance that we give. And the whole process, my feather in my cap is that
it was literally a feather in his cap.
Yes, literally, is that I did everything I could. It was not vacation for me. Like, I did my vocal exercises. I had my humidifiers in my room. I was drinking my tea. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. And I left. I could leave regardless of the outcome and be like, I did everything I could.
Dude, and not to just get right to the point where you got cut, but before that, you give an insane performance like the first round, and Beneath You're Beautiful, and all 4 judges turn around. Like, how did that feel? Take me to the highs.
That was incredible because, again, it's so highly anticipated, right? And what's not aired are all, to me, I think they should air more of it, is the drama of it, because there is drama on the fact that we get not ranked, but you get a schedule every day, so you get people that go before you. So my audition, as it was on the first week or first episode of auditions, I actually auditioned on the 4th day. So most of these teams were already filled. So that's one of my other bragging rights, is I got a 4-chair turn when some people only had 1 spot left. Versus this wasn't day 1 where everyone had this spot.
They have
people were willing to give their last spot to me, And
how do you get to pick then when they all turn?
Yeah.
And you pick John?
Yeah, so I picked John. So we go, and again, it's every night you see, all right, I'm not auditioning this day. I'm not doing this. My wife and daughter are in town, but they're at a different location. So I didn't even get to see them until the day before my audition. So they were there for 4 days, and I couldn't even see them. And I'm like, I'm going to like production. I'm like, please, can I see my wife? I haven't seen her forever, So no. And I get to audition.
They just say no.
They're like, no. I get to audition and I body it.
Absolutely.
Absolute body this audition. And I get to do what, like, even in Chicago when I audition, even here when I audition, I'm like, if I get in front of the right people and I get to perform, like, I'm a competitor, I'm a passionate performer, I will handle
all
business.
the way from like the songs you did on The Voice to like, ripping the national anthem, dude. Like he's a performer.
Yeah. And thank you. And like, so I get this opportunity and it's just all this a culmination of, again, the rejections before the in Chicago and Indiana and here, and then to go out there, have my wife there that I haven't seen in a minute, have my daughter there, and then to get my daughter to come up on the stage with me.
Yeah.
Like, and then to
talk about Turn on the Waterworks.
Turn on the Waterworks, and like, even through this whole thing, like the clip that I watched the most as a dad, and this is like soppy, girl dad gang stuff, but like, is that clip, to see my little girl be able to walk up on the stage. We get to sing a little portion of the song that started this process, because Nervous was my first audition song when in the shed that I sent off, to then be able to sing it right in front of John Legend, who myself grew up, listening to as far as vocalists, and I love all the coaches that were on my season. They're all fantastic people, and I have nothing but fantastic things to say. But John, out of all of them, was the person that like I grew up idolizing as a vocalist. And so to be able to sing his song on that stage after all that time, getting, my mindset was all I need is one to turn. One.
And once you see the first one go, are you like, oh, I'm good? Like, I'm rolling.
The first time,
I'm rolling.
If you like listen to my clip, you can tell that once the first one, I just leveled up. I was like, all right.
You're like, bet.
I'm a bet. Mission accomplished. Now I can just go for it. Like, I don't have to hold nothing back.
It's like, and then you like squeak or something and they flip their chair back around. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, let's get after it. And then, the ending, like, they're like, who is this guy? He's acting like he's, just won the championship of some game. I'm like, yeah, because I'm a gamer. I'm competitive.
Heck
like,
yeah.
I'm not, in some aspects, because of all my different hobbies and my upbringing, I'm not like what some people would be like the stereotypical artistic type, but like, I'm a competitor.
Yeah,
and I'm passionate.
Well, and your wife, she like loved Reba, right?
Oh,
did she still give you some smoke for not picking her?
Oh yeah, she absolutely does. There's like the comfort and competitive side. I come back home, and I'm like, I don't understand why. She's like, I mean, babe, you did your best, but maybe you should have picked Reba. I'm like, come on.
I love it, dude. Okay, so biggest thing you learned from your time on The Voice?
Biggest thing I learned was that I can do this. You go through this journey of life, and it's something that music's always been around, and it's always been something that I felt like I was made to do. But also, like, there's also reality, and to be a dad and be a husband, like, those are number one for me. So that aspect of music, or pursuing music to where I'm now been projected and really ignited to do, was like buried and dead.
Quick pause in the action to introduce you to Barkeep Vodka, the cleanest tasting vodka ever, straight from the heart of Indiana. Now, this isn't just any vodka. It uses an innovative pressure filtering process that reduces bite, burn, and aftertaste. Now, I'm not usually a vodka guy, but when I first tried Barkeep, I asked them if they meant to make a vodka that didn't actually taste like vodka. Surprisingly, they said yes. Barkeep's subtle flavors means you'll taste the ingredients in your cocktail and not theirs. With its roots right here in Indianapolis, it's made with premium local corn and bottled in small batches to be gluten and impurity free. I also love the look of the bottle with the bar spoon on the back as a subtle reminder that this stuff was made for anyone who loves making cocktails. So grab a bottle of Barkeep Vodka from your local grocery or liquor store and impress your friends with the cleanest vodka ever made. For more info, visit barkeepvodka.com. How did your life change from like being on The Voice?
A lot of cool opportunities. I mean, one, some people might not think it's a big thing, but again, Indy is my home. I love it. So I've been able to do a lot of different Hoosier, Indiana things. So I've got to sing the national anthem at many iconic locations here in Indy, and to do the Brickyard, to do the swimming trials, the Indians game. I've done Fever, Mad Ants.
Have you done the Pacers, or have you done Pacers or
I've
Colts
done the
yet?
Colts.
You've done Colts?
Yeah, on Salute to Service Day,
Heck yeah.
where they had the bald eagle fly. That was pretty epic.
That's pretty dope.
I would say right now the number one from like just a full experience was the Indians game. The Indians game was dope. Like, and then to like sit in the stands after and watch the fireworks with my kid, like to sing "God Bless America" on 4th of July at a baseball game. He
doesn't get much more American than that.
Nah, that's super American.
Okay. What about like professionally though? Like what doors have been open for you to go pursue music?
Yeah, so I've met with a few different labels. What I've learned or what I'm committed to is that I want to make the music that I want to make. I don't want to necessarily sell the rights of myself or
like where they're going to give you a bunch of songs you got to sing or something.
Yeah. And I've met with some that they're like, all right, we want you to do, prior to The Voice, a lot of my music professionalism was working with churches and being a worship leader and stuff like that. So I've met some that are with labels that are like, we just want you to do that. I'm like, all right, well, my faith is a huge part of my life, so I understand that, but it's going to be an outpouring. That's going to be an outpouring and part of my music, but it's not going to be the soul.
Like, because once you do that and you get labeled as like he's a gospel artist, like you can't go make
it's a rap. It's a rap.
Yeah, like that's what you want. Which is not. There's nothing wrong with.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, but it's like you can't like you're not going to go number one on the Billboard if you're no offense to gospel artists.
No,
like, I'm pro gospel artist.
Yes, but again, I don't want to be labeled.
Like, what do you want to make?
So I want to make music that's authentic, realistic, and
like what genre?
Oh man, honestly, this is gonna blow people's mind, but like because it's my background, like R&B and gospel does affect like my tone and some of the note selections that I make. However, like it's really kind of like this soul Americana.
Oh, so like who would you? Obviously, no one compares to you, but like who? Like what kind of? Like,
I would say like there's people the people that I've been like really vibing to, like Yebba. I really love Yebba. I love Tori Kelly. I like Teddy Swim.
Okay, Teddy Swim. I know
Teddy Swim.
Yeah.
I like Alan Stone. I love Coldplay. I love Mumford. Mumford is who I like, where I reconnected with my now wife after many years.
At a Mumford & Sons show?
Yep.
Where at?
It was Clips at the time. So
Deer
Creek.
At Deer Creek Ruoff, baby?
Yes, Deer Creek Ruoff. Magical night in the lawn.
So many magical
nights. That is Indy to me. Like when you talk about music and concerts in Indy,
there's no place better until you have to get out of there. Yes. Then it's the worst. But if you could just stay in the lawn forever, chef's kiss.
Man, chef's kiss. I went through a few concerts that the perfect formula is like the opener gets there and it's dark outside. Like you can't have even if you're in the sun, it's summertime. Like the opener can't come out and it's still bright outside.
That's why I like the fall shows there, and it's like it gets dark, and sometimes you only rip like 2 of them, and you're like, this is money.
Yes.
Okay, so music.
Yeah. I've been writing. I've been and actually getting things out of my composition notebook, out of my voice memos.
Yeah. So like you meet those labels, and they're like, we want you to be a gospel singer, and you're like, nah, I'm cool. Like
I'm cool. So then I start.
No.
Yeah. So
to being a musical artist, like you could stop working on the Stone.
Yeah.
And you could be a musical artist full time, but you're like, that's not for me right now.
Yes and no, because I mean, there's still work to be done when you join a label. Do you
get like a salary? Like how does that work? Like do you get some money?
All those things, there's money involved, but a lot of times it varies. Like back end sales,
based on how many like your gospel CD sells,
just different stuff, and that's not what I wanted to do. And I really because the fun thing where I'm at is I'm grown. Like I have a life, I have a career, so I don't have to like just jump on the first thing that sounds intriguing and be like, yes.
Yeah,
let me do that.
Gospel CD.
Yeah, let me do that.
Hallelujah.
No. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, if it was what I felt like I was supposed to do and needed to do, I would have done it. But I don't have to do that.
And,
so
you're at the stage of your life where you like go be like the starved artist where you're sleeping on couches just trying to make it. It's like, dude, like if your life is good like the way it is, which it is, it seems like it is. I can
pick the right place, the right time, do the right music that I want to do, and that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm excited about. That's why I'm excited about all the music that I'm writing. Not that everything I'm doing is like a platinum hit. I would like to think that it became that, but what I'm excited about is like I'm writing real songs about real things that I'm going through. I don't have to do what's trendy or catchy, and that's what I want. I want people to listen to my music and it to with the lyrical choices that I make, with the tones, the tempos that I make, and it be able to teleport people to what I'm singing about, where they can visually see and be like a movie, or they can connect to it
and feel that, right?
And feel
like
that.
That's those songs that like give you like the goosebumps.
Yes, I don't want, and every person I've ever talked to, as I'm reaching out with other, local artists, trying to network and connect with people. Like, I could care less if a bunch of people were like, oh my gosh, it's so catchy and trendy. Oh my gosh, I love it.
It goes viral on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm like, I want people to be like, yo, I listened to that song and I remember that exact feeling,
So if you don't sign with a label, then like, how does getting a record out look like?
Like for the music industry, it's like the best time and the worst time because everything's saturated. If I wanted to produce everything in my house right now, I could, because there's the right softwares, the right mics. These are great mics, the SM7Bs.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to come in and record, like we can cut the EP in here, dude.
Let's go. So write a song, connect with a producer, connect with different musicians, and you could do everything. And then once you do that, you have to go through some different copyright stuff, but you can put your music out really at the press of a button,
like onto Spotify or whatever.
Yeah, Spotify.
But like that's not gonna. If you just put it out today, what would happen? Like just like see if people listen to it.
I mean, you would use your influence, whether it's social media or whatever, to grow that and to get it out there. Hopefully, reach out to different people strategically to get your music out there, which is what you do, right? And what I'm sure that you have to with certain different things with your platform is when you're going to do something, you have to hit the algorithm, right?
Yeah, and tell people you're going to do it. Tell people you're going to do it. Tell people you're going to do it, and then tell them you did it. Yep. I did it. Go watch it. I need your support.
Share, keep retweeting, resharing, posting the same thing, a little tweak, and just build the hype. And that's really what you have to do. So, like, yes, you need to produce a good quality, song. You need to care about the production. You need to do all this. But then there's also this new phase, which is, again, it's awesome. But you have to promo it and you have to promote it and you have to network.
Like anyone who thinks it's like you could be the best, you could have the best voice ever.
Yeah.
You just put it out on Spotify, no one's going to listen.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you have to like find the right channel. Like, and it's like if you send it to the right people who have the right strings to pull, it's like you get on like a Release Radar, or like a Pop Rising, or like something like that. Like those Spotify playlists, and then it's like, okay, now we got one song that has like 100,000 streams, and then maybe they find some other stuff, and like it's a game. Yeah, like it's like a full process.
And I understand it, and that's why like there's even a strategic aspect of like when people are like, some people don't want to do the national anthem. Like some people don't want to, because one, the national anthem, as we've seen, some people who are national recording artists fail horribly at it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like who was it?
I mean, Fergie was the OG of it, but then that chick.
Oh my! And then she had to go to rehab afterwards because she said she was like drunk.
I don't want to stir up controversy, but I fact checked that. I need to talk to one of her counselors. I think she just put that out there because she was not good, and someone was like, "You have to say something about this." Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wait, what was her name? Oh my gosh! I'm looking it up. It was the Home Run Derby.
Yes, Home Run Derby. It was not.
Oh,
good.
Ingrid Andress.
Bro,
that was a tough one.
It was,
unless you listen to this podcast, and then of course we love you.
Yes, but it was.
But I don't think she does. Yeah, no bueno.
Listen, even I hope that she has enough self-awareness that she can look at that and be like, yeah, that was not good. But the thing about the national anthem, you ask any vocalist, is a very difficult song to sing. It goes over many large range. Like you have to have a very nice range to be able to sing that song and sing it well. But then the other thing is like everyone knows that song. So like if you sing like any song in the world, you can maybe flub on a word, and if as long as you don't go like, oh gosh, crap. Like as long as you keep it going, like you can finesse it, right? Everyone at least believes that they know the national anthem. Yeah. Right? And just where we live
Rocket's red stare, and they're like, wait, what?
What?
Like, what the hell did you say?
Well, that used to be American. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Not anymore.
And then all of a sudden,
are you a
viral.
terrorist?
Yeah, you go viral. Like, yeah. X-Star of The Voice doesn't know lyrics to national anthem.
You want to talk about go viral? Yeah. That would have happened immediately. Yes. You know, I'm like, man, maybe I should. No, but like there is an aspect where absolutely, like getting phone calls or getting Instagram messages or emails where people are asking me to do these different national anthems all over Indianapolis. Like I, as a local, like love that. Like that is very exciting for me. Why? Because I grew up on 21st in Delaware, and I used to see, you know, all the things going on downtown. I remember when Victory Field, the newer, you know, Victory Field was put there. You know, I remembered riding my bicycle down the Monon. I remember, you know, the Boom Baby days where people, you know, Delaware is a main street to leave Indianapolis. So I remember after Pacer games, people riding down, and we'd stand on the street and wave our Boom Baby flags. And, you know, So anytime I get to do anything like that in my city, I'm super, super, super excited. But then also, when else right now am I going to be able to get in front of 70,000, 50,000, 40,000, 30,000, 120,000 people and hear my name introduced, to put that in people's mind to be like, oh, Ephraim Owens. So then eventually, I do get follows from that, right? And then one day when I start putting stuff out, people are like, oh, I remember him. He was at the Indians game. He was at the Brickyard. He was at the Colts game.
Okay.
You know?
So when can we expect to see some music hit the feed?
So right now, I'm planning to put stuff on January 4th.
Well, you already have a date. What's special about January 4th? What day of the week is that?
No, it's just I want to release it at the beginning of the year. And so as all the timelines and everything happens, January 4th is going to be my first single that I put out. I'm super, super, super excited about it.
Where's the release party? What are we doing? We got to blow this thing up, baby.
I got to figure out. We might have to do a tailgate and get you in the truck out.
Yes. You know what I mean? Oh my gosh, release party. We could do it at the Vogue right across the street.
We could. We need to make that happen. But like I'm super excited about this music. I'm excited to introduce myself as an artist to people. I've been able to have the great opportunity to do The Voice. I've had the great opportunity to be able to sing the national anthem at different places. I had a great opportunity to sing and lead worship at churches for the last, almost 20 years in this city. And this is like the first time I'm able to like really put music that like I wrote, I bled and sweat through the stories, and I'm now going to be able to share that with people.
What do you hope people feel when they hear your music?
Moved, vulnerability, and like light at the end of the tunnel.
Heck yeah, dude. I love it. Like, I'm so jazzed up. Bro, January 4th. Come on.
Let's go. January 4th.
Well, dude, it's been fun, like, learning your story and learning a little bit about, from an indie to going out, spending 9 weeks in LA, getting to be on The Voice and compete. And, like, for those of you that, if you haven't gone and check out, there's, like, 2 really, really good YouTube videos.
Yeah,
like, go listen to. He absolutely crushes them.
Thank you.
Like, I loved it. In my research, my prep, like, I'll say I don't watch The Voice, like, on an ongoing basis, but it's, like, I see all the clips and see all the stuff. And, like, I got to ask, dude, Indiana's also getting some love right now for America's Got Talent.
Yes.
Boy, Richard.
How
do we get you guys on a duo?
Bro, we need to. Richard, holler at me because we need to do something. Because the other thing is you're out here in Muncie.
No, Terre Haute.
T-Haute. And we just need to make something pop. And I got a whole lot of respect for you, bro. You over here crush it and you back out here. Just being in your community, bro.
He goes back in, like, going back to work as a janitor.
Yeah.
Like, because I don't know what the payment schedule or whatever it is, but it's like, yeah, I'll just go back to work.
Yeah, but the other reality, too, is I'm sure that there's a component. I was home for like 3 months before my episode aired.
Oh, you're just so like, has he been just there for?
I would assume he's been back, and I know there's lives, so I'm sure he came back in windows because I had to come, like after my blind audition, I came back for 2 weeks and I went back to work. You know, I come back when I got cut and I go back to work. You know, people that my sister-in-law got married. I wasn't there. I was in LA. My sister-in-law got married and I was not at the wedding.
Wait, your sister-in-law? Oh.
My wife's sister got married, and I wasn't at the wedding. My wife was getting texts like, "Hey, is everything okay with you and Ephraim?" You know?
Everything is great.
Everything is fantastic. But can't talk about it. So I'm sure that there's an aspect where he's probably had windows where he just had to return. But also, like,
dude,
bro, you have to be grounded. You have to be grounded.
Hear me out. If anyone from Vogue, from Hi-Fi, from White River, from anywhere, here's this episode.
Yes.
We want to do Richard, Ephraim. We're going to do a concert.
Yes, let's go.
And I'll be the hype man. I'll get you guys on stage.
Yes, sir.
And we'll just bring like Indiana's got freaking the voice of talent.
The voice of talent.
Yes.
Yo, because we have hitters. We have hitters here, man. Like, again, everyone wants to think that they have to like leave and flood and go to LA or go to Nashville. There's lots of great opportunities in those places. I'm not, throwing shade, but you can do it here. Like you can do it at home.
Dude, here's what this is like my 5 to 10 year plan.
All right.
I'm going to open a honky tonk in Indy. Like a national broad. I'm calling it the Hoosier Honky Tonk. It's gonna be right downtown, and it's gonna be legendary. And we'll get you opening night. We'll have you there. It'll be great.
I need it. I need that spot. At Conception, we're talking about it. I need that spot.
Come on. All right. Well, hey, we're gonna wrap it out with some fun questions here.
Okay. All right.
So, if you could play any venue, where would it be?
Deer Creek. Shortly after Deer Creek, Clips, Ruoff, however you want to call it, I will always know it as Deer Creek.
Yeah.
Probably Red Rock, bro.
Dude, yes.
Red Rock.
Yes.
Like that. I love nature. I love being outside. Like that, to be like in this naturally formed, somewhat naturally formed amphitheater. Like it'd be crazy.
All right. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
Mumford & Sons, Eclipse.
Where you rekindled with his wife.
Rekindled my love with my wife.
Yes, I love that. If you could sing the national anthem before any event, what would it be?
The Indy 500.
I have Doug Bowles coming on the show soon.
Let's go.
Doug, we got to connect this. We got to make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Oh, man, what's the song on repeat right now?
Lighthouse by Gallum Scott. Yeah, Lighthouse, Gallum Scott. That's
I don't even know that. Is it a jam?
Oh, it's a jam. To me, I feel like if you go listen to that song, you'll be like, all right, I get you from.
If you could either have a feature on someone's song or have someone feature on your song, who would it be?
Tori Kelly.
Why?
Because she is vocally so freaking talented. And I like harmonizing. And I think, like, to me, there's something when you have, like, a great duet. Like, that's just epic to me. Like, cool, you have another guy or, like, this and this. Like, awesome. But, like, to have a fantastic, like, powerful duet, I feel like it moves you.
What's like an all-time duet? Like, what's like one that's like iconic?
Civil War, Wine, Boyz II Men.
One Sweet Day. Okay, so that's the song on repeat. Best duet, Eminem and is it Rihanna? That dude, Love the Way You Lie.
Yes.
Fire.
Yes.
Fire.
Yes.
Like, that song gets me going no matter what time of day it is. I love it.
Carrie, No Air, Chris Brown and Jordan Sparks.
That is an all-time duo.
Yes.
And man, that one's hard to beat.
Yeah.
Got a couple more questions here.
All right.
I've had so much fun.
Have I punched someone in the face before? Yes.
You have.
Oh,
Tell me about that.
Many times.
In regard, I mean, you had 6 brothers, right? Or 5 brothers?
But also,
4 brothers?
I did MMA for a short period of my life. And so I was a welterweight, 170. And I fought for the belt.
What belt?
It was the combat night belt. It was in a region of Florida, Georgia, Louisiana, that region. And I fought for a belt. Did you win the belt? I lost in the last 13 seconds.
What happened?
I propped wrong. He had me against the fence, and I propped propped wrong against the fence, and he swept my leg, and he threw punches, and they stopped it.
TKO?
Yeah, technically, yes. I told him, I was like, yo, if this is a title fight, so make this dude put me to sleep.
In the future, with there's 13 seconds left, just let him punch me.
Let him punch me in the face. Let him body me.
Let him earn it.
Let him earn it.
Wow.
Don't stop it early.
So you went from MMA, like amateur fighter?
Yeah. But like I'm a competitor, so like I first did it like from a fitness standpoint, like staying in shape and doing that, and then I'm like went from training like once a week to training 3 times a week to 4 times a week to 6 days a week, and then it's like, all right, I'm training with all these dudes that are fighting. My head coach and owner, Josh Saman, he was going through the process. He did the Ultimate Fighter, and I'm like, let's go, let's do a fight. So I took a fight and I won decision, and the second fight I choked the guy out, put him in a guillotine. My third fight, won by a guillotine choke. And I'm like, all right, I really like this. So I did it. And then when I moved back home, it's really hard to like find, I'm going to get shade for this, but it is very hard to find the level of competition and level of teammates that I had in Florida. And so then I started like feeling like it was my identity. And I'm like, it was a fun thing that I got an opportunity to do, but it wasn't who I was. So it got to a point where like I didn't have a fight, or I was waiting to take a fight, or there's different like little contracts with different promotions. And I'm like, people are like, hey, when's your next fight? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Wait, this is also interesting to think about. You're not only a singer, musical artist, who also works with rocks.
Yeah.
Who is a fighter who also leads worship.
Yeah.
Now that's like 5 different lives. That's wild.
Yeah. Nowadays you have kids that play sports in high school, and they right out of high school or even before high school and middle school, they have to be very niche.
They're specialists.
They're specialists, right?
Like I'm quitting. So I'm a wrestling coach at Chatard. It's like I'm quitting wrestling to focus on football.
Yeah.
It's like, sir, you're 7th grade. Like,
you're
chill out.
7th grade.
Have some fun.
Also, there are things that you're going to learn in wrestling that are
don't get me going.
Yeah, bro. When I first moved back here, shortly after, I was coaching at North Central. So I coached football at North Central for 7 seasons.
Oh, no
way.
High school?
Yeah.
Varsity?
Varsity for defensive backs with my guy, Coach Dean. And then with freshmen, I was D coordinator and defensive backs, linebackers.
Heck yeah.
And so coached there. RIP Paul Logan, you're the greatest AD in the city, or were, and your legacy lives on. So love you, love the whole family.
Did you go to North Central?
I went to Lawrence Central.
Oh, let's go Bears.
I went to all the schools that mostly despised where I live now.
Yeah, right. And now he lives in Carmel.
You're like, oh, you got brand new, huh?
Yeah. Oh, dude, good to see the voice change.
Really changed you. Like, I mean, I've done some articles. My wife's gonna hate that I said this because like there'd be some articles like post The Voice or whatever that they're like Carmel local, and I'm like,
I don't know about that.
My wife's like, what's so bad about that? I'm like, I mean, I do love where I live. I love my community, but like south of 465, there's a different grit.
A little bit of grit. A little bit of grit down here.
A little bit of grit that we had to ride out and develop. So I understand like the specialist aspect now, but there used to be a season and prior, right, where if you were an athlete in school, you played everything that you could, right?
Because you're a competitor.
You're a competitor.
Go compete.
So that's where I find myself. Is I love to learn and I love to compete at stuff. So like if there is an itch that needs to be scratching, I'm like, all right, let me do MMA. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. I want to be excellent at all of them, and I want to give my all at all of them. That's it.
I love it, dude.
You know?
I love it. Okay, so this question is brought to you by our friends at Or Fellowship. They're a great organization here in Indiana that's helping develop young business leaders across the state. Ephraim, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old self?
You are sufficient right now. We all try to find out what's so special or unique about us. And the only thing that we have to do is look at the mirror, because there truly is only one you. So you're already special, like right now. So like lean into what makes you tick, develop that, grow that. You don't have to be, arrogant and full of yourself. Like, this is who I am. I don't got to change. But like, look who you are and refine and define who you are. But you're good enough. You're good enough, kid.
Heck yeah. You out there. You are good enough.
Yes.
I love it, dude. Okay, what's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
There's more than corn in Indiana.
Yes.
Stop telling me, hey, there are people there. Is it just cornfields and farms? No. Yeah, we do have that. Absolutely. And we're really, really good at it. However, there's a lot of awesome stuff in this city, whether it's like, to me, right? I went to Lawrence Central. Lawrence Central at the time, I thought it was like the most diverse school in this whole city. We had everything from, people that lived in Geist and fancy homes to people on 38th Street in the neighborhood and everything else in between. Like, we have a robust variety in this city, and we are about something. Like, we all grind and work at various levels, but we are all trying to build something. And the city, Indianapolis, Indiana, like, there's a place for you here in Indiana. So find your spot and make it fantastic.
All right. There's big pressure right here.
Oh gosh.
What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Mr. Dan's.
What is Mr. Dan's?
Oh man, it's a burger joint. One of the
Mr. Dan's hamburgers.
Yes, like the OG, at least that I know as the OG, is off of Massachusetts. It's like 34th in Massachusetts. Mr. Dan's burgers, fantastic.
Oh, is that like, okay, wait. The one that I see on here is 46th in like Allisonville. Wow, what do they have there?
They have fantastic hamburgers. They got a good chili dog, coney dog. But yes, Mr. Dan's burger. A Mr. Dan's burger is just this big old juicy. I mean, I would say juicy. Somebody would say greasy, but
some would say grease.
I would say love and flavor.
Oh, it looks pretty fire. I mean, it looks, a lot of love and flavor on that. I'm here for it. I'm here for that. All right, I haven't had that one before. Mr. Dan's.
Mr. Dan's, because you be going to all the like little hidden gems and spots. I've seen that you had that fat tenderloin,
dude.
Bro,
Edinburgh. That place is crazy.
Edinburgh Diner, right?
Yeah. You want to know what's nuts about it too?
What?
Dude, they told me. So the Edinburgh Diner has what I believe to be is the biggest tenderloin. There are people in the comments like,
if there's a bigger one.
I don't even want to say
it. Needs a zip code.
It was delicious. Like, one, it's really good. But what I found out is the owner's mother doesn't really speak that good of English, but sits in the back and just like pounds these puppies out. Like, she's hand flattening them or whatever. Yes. And I was talking to the waitress, and she was like, okay, so it was owned by her and her husband, and then her husband passed away. Son took it over. Son's mom is back there just like pounding these puppers out. And like,
first of all, you can't keep saying that this dude's mom is pounding this meat out.
No, sorry, not that way. But yeah, dude, I look back in the back and I give her a thumbs up, and she just like gives me a little smile, but like no English.
Living her best life.
Maybe almost no English. Nuts. I don't know where she's from. She just showed up in America and started busting out like.
But how long has it been around?
I think it's 1989, if I had to guess.
1989.
I mean, this article says 1889, but I don't think.
What?
I think they spelled that wrong. I don't think it's actually 8. There's no chance there were breaded tenderloins in 1889. Well, if anyone out there knows, let us know how old the Edinburgh Diner is.
For real.
Cool, dude. Final question. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
Me?
January 4th.
January 4th. Let's do it. So, Hi-Fi, Vogue, whoever. We're going to make this
release party, the single release party.
Single release party.
Don't worry, if you have
EP to follow.
If you have girlfriend, boyfriend, wives, you can also come. You don't have to be single to come to the EP release party.
Nah, please come.
Yes.
Family affair.
I love it, dude.
My little ones will be there for sure.
Heck yeah. Dude, you're crushing it. I'm like,
thanks, bro.
This conversation was awesome. It's fun to like learn a little bit more about your journey and what's on the radar. What's coming down the pipe for you, and release of the single.
So release of the single, then after that, like I'll start booking shows and growing that, and we'll see where that goes. But that in the immediate future, it's just all hands on deck, like putting this music out there. Hey, if you live in Indy and you're a vocal artist or you're a producer, definitely the production side, like reach out to me, Ephraim Owens Official, Instagram, reach out. I love working with people. I love collaborating. And just, I think music and anything you do, like accountability is a huge thing. And so I'm all for that collaborative accountability. So moving forward, doing that. So that's the immediate is music.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. Well, hey, keep up the good work. We'll have to check back in after the single drops.
Yes, sir. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you liked what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show was made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're trying to start your own podcast or looking to take your show to the next level, make sure you check out sweetwater.com for all your creator needs. If you want exclusive behind-the-scenes content on all things Indiana, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you for being part of what makes the Hoosier State so amazing. We'll see you next week here on Get In.